Welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors. We're going to do another installment of In the Fur Shed series today. This is a little bit different than some of my other videos. Today we're going to be making my raccoon bait. I don't even really want to call it a bait, honestly. It's a raccoon attractant, a lure if you will. What it is basically a sardine based paste that I put on my raccoon sets, on my dog proof sets. It works really well. We'll kind of go through what it is. I'm going to actually go through kind of step by step making it. It's pretty simple to make, and then I'll kind of at the end of the video, I got a dog proof set in here. I'm going to actually show you how I actually set it all up when I make my set. All right, let's get right into it. So here's the ingredients that I'm using. So we'll go through actually. Here is the recipe. So it's 2 canned sardines, 2 tablespoons vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon bacon grease, a teaspoon of star anise oil, a package of Certo jam preservative, and then add flour, approximately a cup. Basically what I do is you dump the sardines and you mash them, get them to be as much as a paste as you can, and then add all your other ingredients and then just mix in flour. Just add it enough to get it so it's like a dough consistency, so it kind of sticks to itself. As we go here, we'll kind of see how much that flour it really takes. I am actually doing something a little bit different. I have made it with the sardines. 2 cans of sardines, the amount that makes me doesn't hardly get me through a season. Depending on how many raccoon sets I'm running and the number of catches. This paste, when I put it on my sets, pretty much every animal in the woods must eat it, because I've had literally deer walk right up to my raccoon set and eat my paste, or they walk right up to it and my paste is gone. So I'm assuming that they ate it. Squirrels, raccoons, skunks, all that stuff, mice and rats will eat this paste. So every few days I kind of try to do a maintenance on my line, and I'll actually, you go back and have to re-add this paste back on there. That's the only kind of downside of it, but it does work very well. I've been using it for years and it seems to work. So instead of doing 2 cans of sardines, I'm going to make a double batch today, and I'm going to use a can of all natural pink salmon. I've made this the last couple times I've made it. So basically it's like a double batch is what I'm going to end up making. So I don't know how much the salmon into 2 cans of sardines, or it'd be 4 cans of sardines because a double batch. I really don't know the ratio there. I don't really care. It's going to be a fish-based attractant anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me, honestly. These mash up pretty easily as well. We'll kind of go through what I got. So I got my salmon already here. I just got anise extract. You can use, it says anise oil. This is what I've used, is anise extract. It just makes it smell like black licorice. This is just a cheap bag of flour, all-purpose flour. We got vegetable oil, and then this is what I use for my Sure gel, essentially. Or, and since I'm doing a double batch, I got 2 packets of it. Again, that's pretty much everything. And then, like I said, the flour, I just got a 1 cup measuring cup for the flour. I'm not actually going to measure the oil. I'm just going to dump it in. I am going to measure the anise because I have this bowl. I do have a brand new one too in case I need to add a little extra. I'd rather have too much anise than not enough, because to me, it kind of, you have a fishy smell, but this gives it kind of a licoricey smell that I feel like kind of has its own attractant. So if it smells too much like fish to me, I'll add a little more anise to it. I just got a paper towel. This is the container that I use. It's just an old peanut butter jar, like one of the bigger sizes, because a spoon will fit completely in there. And then obviously the lid for it. And then I got a dog proof. It is set, so I'll be careful about that. But that's how I want to show you how to use it, or how I use this paste. All right, I think that's about it for introduction here. So we're gonna get going. I just got a mixing bowl here. I'm not a fan of the smell of tuna or sardines or anything like that. So we're just getting it to slide out. I mean, looks real yummy, I'm not gonna lie. It really doesn't. Again, I'm not a fan of it. Grab. Going to use just a big spoon, and then all I'm going to do here is just kind of tip it over. You can kind of see like there's a skin in there. I'm basically going to just chop this up with my spoon here. I'm going to kind of show you how I do this, and then I'll finish getting it all smashed up, and then I'll turn you guys on, kind of let you know how long it takes. So I'm just using my spoon, I'm just kind of chopping it into chunks, and then all I'm going to do is just take my spoon. I'm trying to get so I can hold the bowl, and just smash down and kind of pull to the side. You can kind of see how it kind of really smushes and tears it all up. And then the more you get some of like the grease that, the more you get some of the grease and stuff that come out of that can mixed in with it, the easier it'll be to mash. So I'm actually going to add the oil right now. Here, I'll show you. So it says 2 tablespoons oil, so I need 4 tablespoons. I'm not even going to measure, like I said. It's just going to be a good pour. You know, I would say probably a good 1/4 cup or a little bit more. And what that oil is going to help me do, it's actually going to help me kind of mash this up a little bit nicer. And then as I keep stirring this or mashing it, it will kind of keep sucking that up. But all right, so you can kind of see what I got now. It's all kind of lumpy. Like I said, I'm going to shut you guys off and I'm going to mash this. It's going to take me a few minutes, and it's nice to have both hands. So I'm going to mash all this up, and then I'll turn you guys on before I add any of the other ingredients. Alright guys, so I've been going probably like 2 minutes, and honestly it hasn't been all that long, but it's a lot easier when I can grab the bowl. So I got you guys set up now. So all I'm doing is basically spinning the bowl, and I'm just kind of pushing it down and smearing it to the side, and that's just kind of breaking it down. I don't know how well, try and get so you guys can kind of see. So I'm just pulling just a little at a time, and I'm going round and around. But I got it a pretty decent consistency. I don't see any like bigger chunks left in there, so I'm just kind of stirring it around. Kind of got that oil mixed in there too, so it kind of made it a little more liquidy, which helped me kind of mash it up. Again, it's not super imperative that you got to get it to like, you know, an absolute paste, but the thinner it is, kind of the better the whole setup works, and I'll kind of explain that to you when I go show you how to put it on the trap. All right, so I think we're done with that part of it. So we're gonna add some of our other liquid ingredients here. We're gonna kind of make me a spot in the middle here. And I'm just gonna add in this Cerdo. I'm gonna add in both of them, and then add in the anise here. Oops. So I'm just going to squeeze it out of there. So I think the Cerdo actually, it's a preservative, but I think like it actually helps keep it soft when you get like freezing temperatures, and I think it helps the smell kind of, you know, as you're, so I'm just squeezing down, trying to squeeze it all out of there. I'm trying not to get it on my hands. Not that it matters if it's on your hand, but use the spoon, kind of scrape the edge. Okay, so there's one. Yeah, so I think it acts like a kind of a preservative to keep it from freezing. You know, and the oil I think does the same thing. So again, I'm just I just squeeze the big glob out, and then I'll just kind of use my fingers and just kind of squeegee it all out of here. I mean, obviously I'm not worried about every last little thing, you know, like you're squeezing your toothpaste out of a, you know, people try to get every last little glob out of it. Not that concerned about it. Okay, wipe my hand off here a little. And now we got our anise here, or anise extract. We're just gonna give that a little shake. Again, it smells just like black licorice. I know some people don't like black licorice. I'm a fan. I like it. So, all right. So how much am I at? So it says 1 per batch, and I'm making a double batch. So, okay. So there's 1. I think I'm gonna be about 2. And I only had just a splash left, so I wasn't gonna save just a splash. Like I said, I'd rather it smell a little more like anise than not smell at all like anise. So, okay. Just gonna pick you up for a second here. Just stuck my measuring spoon in the sink. All right, so now we got the sardines, which I'm using the salmon, vegetable oil. I don't have any bacon grease or grease from like frying hamburgers or anything this time. Typically, if I think about that I gotta make this, I try to save some, and I'll fry like bacon just for the purpose of saving the grease for it. I don't have any. I don't know how much a difference. You're only adding 1 tablespoon per batch, so I'd add 2 tablespoons of it. I bet it does give it a little bit of like a smoky bacon smell. Again, I don't have any this time, so I'm not gonna add any, obviously. And then the last thing I need to add is just my flour. So we're going to stir all this in, and it's gonna get pretty liquidy. And that's why you kind of want to get your salmon or sardines really well mashed, because like now it's going to be almost impossible to mash anything. I mean, it almost looks like, almost to me like you're making like a baking powder biscuit or something. It's a little bit wet, obviously, but I need, I'm going to add some flour to fix that. But right now, if I try to put that on a set, it isn't going to stick at all. It's just too soupy for that. Again, I'm just trying to make sure. There was a little, I just seen it too. There's a little bone in here that had come out of that salmon. I'm pretty sure that's not probably supposed to be in there, but when you pay a whole $1.27 for a package of salmon, or a can of salmon like that, you can't really expect top dollar stuff. All right. So I got just a cup measuring, or a 1 cup measuring cup here. Obviously I don't have quite a full cup. I know, like I said, it takes roughly a cup per batch. Don't add it all in to begin with. I'm making a double batch, so this should be about half of the flour I need. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it on the top here. And I actually didn't even put it all on there. And then I'm going to slowly kind of like, because it will kind of puff up on you if you get going too crazy. So I'm just going to kind of slowly stir that in. You can see it's already, kind of drying it out. It's going to take, like I said, probably at least a cup and a half if I had to guess. The key, like I said, to me is just adding a little at a time. You can see already that, like if I get it stirred in, it's already sticking to my spoon a little bit better, but it's still plenty liquidy. So that was about 2/3 of a cup. There's another third. Again, you get too carried away, it doesn't. Just kind of, once you get it kind of started mixing in, so it gets most of it incorporated, then you can kind of go to town here. Honestly, I don't know. We're gonna need a little bit more, but we ain't gonna need all that much because, like I said, it's pretty sticky on my spoon, but it's still a little bit wetter than I want. So there's probably, if I had to guess, about 2/3 of a cup more. I'm not gonna again put quite all of it in there. I'm gonna put about half of that in there, so that's about 1/3 of a cup more. So I still got about 1/3 of a cup. This is the kind of, the smell is easy enough to get. You know, you got sardines or salmon like I'm using. Tuna may work. I don't know how well it would kind of mush like this. See, now we're getting a little more of a dough ball-y kind of look to it. It's still pretty wet though. You know, it's kind of pulling away from the pan. The bottom of it down in here is still pretty wet though. All right. So we're getting close here. We're going to add that whole, so that's about 1 1/3 cups is about what I've added now. Or 1 2/3 cups is about what I've added. Again, if you're making just the single batch, I would start off with like maybe a half a cup at the most to begin with, and then just slowly add a little at a time. We're getting real close here. Still got a little bit of loose flour in there. I don't know, she's still a little sticky, but I think I might leave it just like that. I don't know, she's still just a little sticky. So I may end up close. You know, I maybe got, I don't know, maybe another 1/4 cup or so. So I'm gonna end up right real close to my 2 cups like I would have needed, you know, to begin with, like I said. But I don't think you want to add it all in, because just kind of depending on how liquid your mix was ahead of time, you know, you may need quite a bit less or quite a bit more. See, I like how it's like, you see how this is kind of sticking together like that? That's kind of what I want it to look like. That's maybe a touch dry for what I'm doing, but I want it closer to that stage than it is like a real liquid, slimy kind of stage. All right, I think that's going to be real close there. Okay. We're going to pick you up here. So here's what we got. This is just a Z-trap. I use a whole variety of different dog proofs. I'm not going to go over it a whole lot, but I use just a cable stake. It's like 15 inches long, an 1/8 inch quick link right there, name tag around the swivel. This guy is set. Oh, I need one more thing here. The secret weapon right here. There it is. What's the secret weapon? A golf ball. Oh, you guys couldn't see that. I can't hold the camera and you at the same, or this at the same time. This golf ball I actually found out in the woods. It must have been from one of my sets and I couldn't find it, and it looks like the squirrels chewed on it. So that is how I set my sets. That golf ball keeps the mice and stuff out of there, and it also keeps the rain out of there. So what I do, oops, sorry about that. I'll get you guys set up here. So I'm just going to quick show you how I set it up. So here's my trap. I push it in the ground, you know, up to this, so it's just standing there. I will take my spoon and I try to get just a little on there. I don't want like a huge amount, even like that I will use. What I do is I just basically will put my spoon on there and I'll go just like that. So that's actually like perfect consistency right now. You can kind of see how much I put on there. That's like probably about the maximum amount I'll put on there. And then the nice thing about putting it there is I set my golf ball on there, It doesn't really impede. It's not really stuck to the golf ball because it's, you know, doughy enough that it don't stick. And there's my completed set. I use a little bit of fish oil as like a trailing scent to get them to my set. But that's how and like I said, I think pretty much every critter in the woods wants to eat that stuff. Just gonna quick set that down here. All right, so that's about it. That's my raccoon paste attractant. Again, my house smells like anise right now with a very, I don't know, it's kind of a mix between anise and the sardines or the salmon, like a fishy type of smell and with anise mixed into it. And the Sure-Gel, I think, probably adds a little bit of flavor, but I think that's a little more of a preservative. So all I'm going to do now, I just sat my dog proof on my container here because I don't want to get that on my table. I'll scrape that back off. Basically, I'm just going to spoon this stuff out of here, fill up my jar here. I keep it in the refrigerator until I need it. And then whatever I have left over at the end of the year, I actually just freeze my jar. And then I'll reuse it again next year. I'll get somewhat close to 2 full seasons out of this, depending on, again, how many sets I'm running each year. I think that's about it. So yeah, I'm just going to stir that up just a touch more. I'll scoop it out of there, just scoop it into that jar. Like I said, I leave a little spoon in that jar that I use as I'm to lure my sets. Typically all I grab is just like the tip of the handle because you're pushing it down into the stuff. I'm trying to take a spot like I said, it's not very big. It's maybe the size of a marble. It's about all that I'm using on each set. You get a little more on some, a little less on others. It just, however, it sticks to the trap and sticks to your spoon. But I don't put a lot on each set because it's fairly potent smelling in here. Like I said, it smells, I don't know if it smells delicious. I like the anise smell, but I don't like the salmon smell. But otherwise, I think that's about it. This is pretty much the last thing I needed to do for get ready for trapping season. So like I said, I'm going to stick this in the fridge. It'll be ready in a few days from now when the season starts and I can get going. If you guys have any questions on what I made here, you know, the ingredients or anything like that, the reason why I'm using that salmon too, it was like $1.29 for the can of tuna or can of salmon. So it was fairly cheap. Like I said, I paid $1.29, a little flour, anise, some Sure-Gel. I got like $10 into enough lure for 2 years. And I made it myself. Again, I don't know. It's fairly easy, and I think it works just as good, if not better, than a lot of the commercial lures out there. So, all right, I think that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching Schmattz Outdoors. If you like this video, if you're gonna try this, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear how you guys did this season. If you use this type of paste, if you guys make your own type of paste, feel free to drop a comment down below. If you want to put your whole recipe down there, feel free to do that. Otherwise, it's just I'm kind of interested to see what everybody else uses. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode of Schmattz Outdoors.